Antoine, and then we can get right into some of the updates, but I'll let you get started as well. I know Antoine is in the middle of a move. I'm surprised to see him in a shirt and tie because when I spoke to him last, he was in the middle of relocating from one place in Dallas to another one. But
Excellent. Welcome,
welcome.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Jason, I know you and Carmen, I know you guys are staying guarded. I know there's a lot going on there in Jamaica with the hurricane on the rise. Thanks, Derek, and for putting this together and everyone. Thank you for your time. You know, the most valuable commodity is time. And so I don't take any of that for granted. So I'm very, very appreciative. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Antoine McBay. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I've been living in Vietnam for the past 7 years. And I'm one that have been involved in a cryptocurrency space for quite some time. I was fortunate enough to have a mentor, a Chinese lady that I had known for 10 years that taught me about blockchain technology and Bitcoin. This was back when Bitcoin was $350 for each Bitcoin. And of course, I went all in. Ethereum was less than $100. I had been with New York Life, which was traditional financing. And of course, the people thought I was crazy, but thank God I didn't listen to the naysayers. I then left the US and find myself living abroad and just kind of really enjoying life, traveling to about 28 different countries. But I say that to say that I've seen a lot in the crypto space. I've been through a lot in the cryptocurrency space. And to be quite frankly with you, all of that has led us to this point. It's been one hell of an education in that journey. I've lost $1 million in the cryptocurrency space, and not because the value of the currency went down. It was just simply because of the wrong type of business model that I was involved in. You got to understand living abroad in countries like Asia and Vietnam, there are all type of crypto Ponzi and opportunities that are out there. What's unique about what we have here with Nexqloud is we're truly fulfilling a need in the space that is traditional business. This is not network marketing by no means. And if you decide to align yourself with us as you begin to register and enroll, you'll find that out very, very quickly as you're going through the process of understanding that this is different. And again, what led us here are the things that we've gone through in this space. And so when you look at Nextcloud and understanding that we are providing a service to companies that have to pay a bill anyway, they have to pay for their cloud computing. That space is growing. You've got AI, you've got Web 3.0 that is increasing the capacity of that space. So they've got to store it somewhere. And to have a company like Nextcloud, which is allowing everyday ordinary people, regardless of race, gender, religion, education, or background, to now partake in what will soon be an $800 billion space. I mean, this is huge. And all we're doing is helping companies save up to 30 to 40% on a bill that they have to pay anyway. And we're not asking you to go and get customers. We don't need you to go out and get customers. There's a whole department that is doing that. That is that department's job. It's not your job. But I understand that some of you may have relationships with companies that want to save. That's a little different. If you have those relationships, there'll be a way that you can refer that relationship and allow the others to do what they do. But that's not anyone on here. That's not your job. We have the opportunity to earn the NXQ tokens. And we're looking for early adopters right now because we are in that mode of testing things to make sure things run pretty smooth. We have done everything that we said we were going to do from the very, very beginning, even before I spoke with Derek. And Derek kind of took off kind of early on because he heard a little bit about what was going on. He was like, this is interesting. This sounds great. And being the visionary that he is, he knew that this was something special. He knew it. And he continued, Antoine, we need Antoine. And I was like, there, we're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. But we're here now. We're getting to this point now where we're here. But our token, it is on CoinMarketCap. We have built a level 1 exchange. We have registered with the SEC in the US. If you don't understand how big that is within itself, oh my goodness. That separates the men from the boys, so to speak. There's a link that will be on our website that people can click and see the actual registrations on the SEC's website, providing transparency. And so now is the time that people like yourself can be part of our test. And of course, those of you that are getting in position early on, you're going to be rewarded quite handsomely. Our NXQ token has the exact same tokenomics as Bitcoin. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. They've done a great job with the tokenomics. There's only going to be 21 million. There's going to be only X amount of tokens per day. There's a halving every 4 years. But imagine being 5 years ahead of where Bitcoin was. When Bitcoin first started, there was no demand for Bitcoin. That's why the guy paid 10,000 Bitcoins for pizza. There was no demand at the time. The demand had to be created. With Nexqloud, we built the demand first. We build the demand first. So there are companies that are waiting on Nexqloud to share their to be a part of our cloud computing. They want to save money. Every company wants to save on their bottom line. And I'm not talking about the big boy company. We don't have to look at the big, huge companies, although we may get some of those. But I mean, there are some pretty small companies in which Jason know I'm one that I'm very, very familiar with and have a relationship with the CEO for quite some time. He's less than a year old, and his cloud computing cost is $20,000 a month. He has to pay that bill every single month. And imagine as he scales, what about a year from now, 2 years from now, what that bill could be? And to be able to be with Nexqloud to save anywhere from 20 to 40%, he said, Antoine, if you could save me 10%. And again, that's not my job. I don't have to go out and find customers. But because I have a 5-year relationship, I had to share it with them. So this is a unique position where it's like you are aligning yourself with the company, and we're 5 years ahead of where Bitcoin was. We already have the demand. And imagine when Bitcoin started, you were the ones with the servers that was generating the Bitcoin that went right into your own private wallet where you hold the seed words. That's what's going on with the NXQ token. You can simply become an investor. You go through what we call assurance. It's a third party. That's who regulates everything. And as you go through that process, you will see, if you're familiar with this space to some degree, you will see that this is very, very different going through the process. Even to the point of how much income you earn determines the max that you can even invest. It's just part of the process, because assurance is who's regulating everything on the side. So we're not recording this at the moment. We will have some formal meetings and there will be recordings and all that. We're not there yet. This is a private meeting for this group, but we will get to that point. So what's taking place right now, you can download the app. Our app is in the iOS. It's also in the Play Store. Some of you have been with companies and you've been told, one day we're going to be in iOS. One day we're going to be in iOS. One day we're going to be in iOS. And that one day seems to never appear. If you've been in this space any length of time, You've gone through that process. That's not the case here. I mean, things have been happening like this. So let's talk a little bit about how you earn, because although this is not network marketing, you can refer others, and there's some benefits to that if you choose to do so. You don't have to, but if you choose to do so, what does that look like? So I'm going to talk a little bit kind of at a high level, right? So you buy an NFT. The NFT is $1,000, and you get shares into Nexqloud. That's why you're going through assurance. You get shares. And because you get shares and you started with $1,000, you also get a free NFT. Now, what protects us in that regard? Well, you have to hold that NFT. You cannot sell it for 12 months. The beauty of this opportunity is it saves people from themselves. There's no pump and dump here. Okay? You have to hold that NFT for 12 months. Now, anyone that you directly refer, you also earn an NFT for anyone that you refer that buys one of our devices. You earn an NFT. Okay? You can introduce as many as you want directly. Every time they buy a device, you earn an NFT. Not only that, it's almost like frequent flyer miles. You know how you can fly and you get the miles, right? And they have a bronze level, they have a silver level, they have a gold, and they have a platinum. Well, as that community grows that you started with, you begin to advance from bronze to silver to gold to platinum. And as you hit those different levels, you earn more NXQ tokens. You earn more. You earn more. You earn more. But because this is traditional business, it allows us to do some things at a level where we don't have to hide anything. We can be transparent. We can register with the SEC. All these things that most companies in the cryptocurrency space typically don't do and don't have. We have it because we are running a real business. We will be, in a matter of time, the biggest cloud computing company in this space. We're allowing every ordinary people to be a part and take part of that pie. Just like Uber is one of the largest transportation companies out there, and they don't own one single car. We will be one of the largest in this space and not own any cloud storage devices. Because of proprietary software, it allows people to link their idle PCs and earn the NXQ token. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share a video with you that kind of goes over a little bit of how this works. I won't say how it works, but it's kind of a little sizzle video. I'm sure some of you may have been to the website. It's a very, very professional website. And we do have a video on that website. Give me one moment here. I'll show that video. And then we put together kind of almost like an animated video to try to explain it at an infant level for some who may not understand or know what cloud computing is. I'll show that to you as well. These are not long videos, maybe a minute and 30 seconds, 2 minutes max. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen and we'll watch this first video. This is the Nexqloud website. Very detailed, very professional. Be able to go on and take a look at that. nexcloud.io. And I'm going to click watch now where you can see the video.
Welcome to Nexqloud, the future of cloud computing. Picture a world where your idle devices aren't just sitting. They're powering a global computational revolution. Envision billions of devices harmoniously linked in a singular cloud, creating immense value for millions. Your laptop, desktop, or mobile, it's not just a device connected to Nexqloud. It's how you earn income daily for the rest of your life. Need cloud or hosting services? Experience unparalleled performance at unbeatable prices with unmatched security and reliability. If you're a developer, tech founder, or blockchain guru, it equates to funding your innovations, creating community engagement, all while scaling CPU-intensive applications. Plus, we're green, championing a sustainable future by reducing the need for more large data centers. Nexqloud isn't just an idea. It's a collective movement for all. Join Nexqloud and let's shape tomorrow, today.
It's a very nice video. What I'm going to do now before I share the next video, I want you to hear from a good friend of mine that I've known for more than 23 years. You've heard him speak here just a moment ago, but I met him when I moved from Dallas to London, England. And, being a Texan, I stepped into London with a cowboy hat and some cowboy boots on. And I know he was saying, who in the world is this? But we connected, and we've been, for the most part, joint as business colleagues ever since then. And I stayed there in the UK for almost 2 years. London impacted my life so much that when I did move back to Dallas, I named my son London Antoine McBay. Yeah. So I want to introduce my good friend and my business partner, Mr. Jason Thomas. You're muted, Jason. There you go.
There we go. Appreciate you. You could imagine coming from Manchester, England, where I was born, and then years later going to an event and seeing this gentleman, him and another colleague, with a massive cowboy hat, just reminded me of everything we used to see in the movies. The only thing he was missing was his pistol at the time. But it's good to be here. On the call, and I'll introduce him in just a moment, is someone from our tech team, one of our individuals who my last name. I'm just putting that disclosure out there at the moment, simply because if he says anything that is crazy, I honestly have to say, unfortunately, he's related to me. But he'll come out in just a moment to say a few words. He lives in Jamaica as well, so he, of course, is dressed like I am because he's an Ochi, and he's preparing, of course, for the inclement weather that is coming our way in just a few hours here. But what I want to showcase to each and every one of you at the moment, I really just some of Antoine has shared with you, and my art in managing the operations of the company is to, at this point in time, really thank Derek, not simply for putting this together. Moreover, for you to know, Derek is the one who petitioned us. Can we use our team in the UK as a beta test support for what you're doing? Honestly, we were only utilizing the team in the US. But because of Derek, we've decided to go ahead and assist. So you want to thank him for really making this happen. Let's be very honest, there are going to be glitches, and there are some as we speak. So being part of this beta test here, I want everybody to be fully aware of where we are. So let me just share my screen. Antoine pointed out a few things that are important for you to know. Let me pull up first this. This is just some screenshots. So first and foremost, before I pull this up, you can go to the website, scroll down on the website, and you're able to see the apps, where to click for the Google Play Store and iOS. Very seamlessly. Click on that, download the app. Once that has been done, the next step is you will see this page pop up on your screen. You enlarge it there. You're not logging in. at this point in time. What you are going to do is click on sign up. Click on sign up. Once you have clicked on sign up, it will take you to this next page where it's going to, the system will ask you for a referral phone number. If Derek, as an example, is the one referring you, then you're going to put his phone number in here. If Mary or Karen are the ones referring you, then you are going to put their phone number. You click on the flag for the UK and then put the contact number in of that individual. There have been some glitches in getting this done. If it happens, just let Derek know. The IT team will work to rectify that and getting that part done. From there, you will simply create your account. Okay. You can see the information that is pretty basic for everyone to be able to see. And then following that, you click sign up. Once you click sign up, this point on, you are not importing a wallet. You're going to create new. This is a brand new wallet that you're going to click on. Click on that, and it will give you your own 12-word phrase is what will actually happen from there. Following that, which you don't see here on the screen at the moment, but there will be 3 bars at the top left. Top left, you click on those 3 bars. Let me look at it in mine at the moment, and I can tell you what you should expect to see. But once you click on the 3 bars at the top, it will, don't have the screenshot in here, it will give you the option for an NFT key portal that you will simply click on. Once you click on the NFT key portal, what it does is it will take you here. This is where it's going to take you. Remember, as Antoine said to you, this is unconventional. Because we have filed the proper notifications with the SEC, and they are here for you to be able to see. This is where it's going to take you to. Issuance is website. This is the third-party broker that we must use. They are the ones connected to the SEC. We go through the broker, and there are necessary disclosures. So here, for example, you can view all of our filings. Notice this takes you to the SEC's website. Okay, this is there for everybody to be able to see. Following that, what you will be able to do is go back here. You can view the Form C. This is what has been filed with the SEC. There it is right there. United States Securities and Exchange Commission, the Form C. It gives you all of the proper information in regards to the company, everything that we're doing. All of that documentation is there. Now, why did we do this? Let's be very honest. Many of us have already been in opportunities affiliated with them that if they had done this part, it would have saved us in many ways. So looking at those that we have seen over the years that have been burnt, lost, we felt it was important learning from those ways that this is a real business. As Antoine said, this is what separates the men from the boys. And so as a result of that, there are certain steps that we have to take just to do the proper jurisprudence in getting started. So I've shared that part with you, but you'll simply scroll in here and click on Invest Now. Invest Now is what you can click on. Now, this showcases what our raises are. If you click on Invest Now, you will go in and simply create an account. Just because you've signed up inside of the app does not mean you simply sign in here. You want to create an account. In doing so, be mindful of the fact that the same phone number that you used and email address that you used inside of the app is the same one that you must use here. Once again, phone number and email address are the most important pieces of information here that you need to be mindful of. The reason for that is they need to match. Remember, issuance is a third party. You are investing into the business on this side with issuance, okay? You're purchasing shares. On Nexqloud side, your phone number and your email address, they need to match. Once they match, they can say, okay, we've seen Karen's phone number, email address. This is the same Karen now that has signed up inside of the app. We are now going to initiate and prepare her NFT, in which she will see inside of the app itself. That normally takes about 24 to 48 hours for that to post. So on the left-hand side, you can see the steps, which is to create an account. There will be investment details. In other words, what will happen is that the system issuance is going to ask you a series of questions to determine, as Antoine said, your ability to invest and the amount. It will restrict you. For there are some that the system will say that you have the opportunity to put up to 10,000 if you do that. For others, it will say 3,000. It is up to you. There are many of you who intend to get multiple devices. Each one of those devices will require an NFT to go along with it. And so you want to be mindful of that as you fill out your paperwork here online. Then you'll be able to select your payment type. Following that, then you would have determined the amount of shares, because it will say to you the minimum amount will be 500. But of course, in order to purchase the NFT, it will require 1,000 shares because it's $1 per share. So you get to determine that, go through all the disclosures, and then finally make the purchase. Okay. Once that's done and that's confirmed, as I mentioned, 24 to 48 hours is what you're looking for in regards to seeing that NFT inside of your app itself. I do want to share with you one of the things you will not see today because it's not available. Remember, the first step that everyone on this call can do as of right now is simply purchase the NFT, which is by acquiring the shares. That is it. Inside of the app store itself, there is a tab that says Nano Server Store. If you click on it, it will say that it's not available. However, I'm going to show you behind the scenes as to what to expect, what to look for. Everything you see here now is not necessarily going to be edged in stone in regards to our price points. If some of you are familiar with the company Helium, and many on the last call that we did raised their hand and said, yes, you heard of the issue that they had. Those were individuals who purchased devices to mine. And it got to the point where there were no more devices available. And so people ordered, and it was months before they received those devices. In here, this will be connected to Amazon store. You will have the ability to purchase your device. It will look like this. There's different types of devices. You can see, for example, the Pluto Lite is one of the smallest devices that we actually have. You see the Atlas, which is another one. One of the things I want you to focus on is the cloud score. And I'll have Bentley address some of this in just a moment. We have another one over here to the far right called the Saturn. Notice the cloud score is much higher on that. So these are all different price points. Let me go to the highest one, which is the Hercules Max. And notice the cloud score on these is 90. That's going to be very, very important. And we'll break that down to you in just a moment as to what that means in this case. 1 second. Antoine, I should have made you the co-host. Let me do that. Then you can mute anybody that we need to do that. Okay, so I just made you the co-host as well. There we go. Okay, so you're looking at this is the Hercules. This is the most powerful device that we actually have. None of these prices at the moment are edged in stone. This is just a template of what to expect. An individual can purchase as many of these devices in any combination that they want. So be mindful. Let's use the Hercules as an example once again. You purchase the NFT, which is going to issuance and really purchasing the share. You hear that term interchangeably because you remember really it's two separate transactions. You go into issuance, uh, investing into the project with 1,000, that propels the issuance on our side, generates the NFT. The NFT is the key that you need in order to unlock your device. Then you will be able to go in, hopefully by the end of the week, beginning of next week, you should be able to actually purchase the device or devices. There are those individuals who have multiple devices, and I'll have Bentley to explain why that is the case and understand the vision as to where this is going. But essentially, you are having your own cloud storage business, is what you have. And so acquiring these devices gives you the ability, depending on which one you have, you could imagine the person, for example, that acquires the Hercules as opposed to the person that acquires the Pluto you see here. Uh, it's a 30 cloud score points as opposed to 90. That simply means the person that has the Hercules is really earning 3 times as more as the one that has the light. So there is a difference in that regards. There was something else. Was there anything else I needed to cover on this, Antoine, before I bring Bentley on? I think that is
I think
it.
you've covered it.
Okay, perfect. So that is
You
it.
may want to show Coin Market.
That was it. Coin market cap. This is what I wanted to show. I knew there was something else. So let's go here to coin market. Derek can attest to this, that when we first started talking, having this conversation in regards to this opportunity, and when this was launching, we weren't even listed on CoinMarketCap just yet. It's been roughly 3 weeks. When this was listed on CoinMarketCap, it was at $5. I want that to sink into everybody. This was at $5 when it was listed. We only had small amount of tokens on here because you can scroll down and see where the exchange is that actually has it here. We only had a small amount because we were really just testing the system. However, CoinMarketCap made an announcement that they have brought on one of the newest companies, which they do with a lot of new companies. And it created a lot of buzz once individuals went to the website and when they went to the white paper. Following that, we've had write-ups in Yahoo News. We've had MSN.com, and there's a host of maybe 3 or 4 other companies. I forward all of them to Derek, and Derek, as I know, has been forwarding it to many of you to see really what the write-up is about us. And they look at this as disruptive technology at the end of the day. Following that, what has happened is that individuals have looked on it, and those who are quite savvy have found a way to go through here and acquire some of these coins. And as a matter of fact, you can clearly see we have 4x and we have not even turned the switch on. So keep that into context. Keep in mind now, here is a company that hasn't even launched yet, turn on the switch. There are a number of major exchanges who have already reached out to us. I won't say who they are, who've already reached out to us, shocked at how much we've accomplished in such a short period of time. Let's be honest. To have your own layer 1 blockchain is a big deal. To have filed the proper forms with the SEC is a game changer in the space that most companies, frankly, they just don't do that. They'll go and register the company in Dubai and other countries like that to bypass all of that, and they're operational. I don't know if we would do the exact same thing if we had to do it over again because it is a headache and it's very intrusive at the end of the day. However, it is the best thing for you all as investors. It protects you. So imagine now with what we're offering, having these devices, earning NXQ and it growing at this rate, and we have not turned the switch on. So before Bentley comes, he's going to break down to you The 1,000 devices that are going to be sold, for those individuals that are coming into this in the very beginning, who make up that network of 1,000 devices, those individuals will see the benefits in the very beginning. We call those individuals the early adopters. Then the late majority come on board. There will be other devices with a lower price point. And of course, along with that, that simply means those devices won't have the same capacity as the ones that some of you would have selected or be using. But once those 1,000 devices are in place, then what happens next? That completes the network, and now the users come on board. You all are the hosts because you have your own devices. The users are those companies, small to mid-sized businesses, who need these services waiting already. You don't have to go get them for us. We already have a team that does that. And those individuals, once they come, those are the individuals that bring their know-how, bring their base of customers. There are many others who have said already to Antoine, well, I've got 3 or 4 other friends who have businesses, small to mid-sized businesses who need these services. And if you can cut our costs, we're in. So that's what happens next. But with that being said, Antoine and I have been doing a number of these calls now for a couple of weeks. We can count to one hand how many calls we've had so far, Antoine, in regards to this. And recently, we've decided to bring on Bentley, who's there in Orchurios, to really assist us in really sharing this. But let me give you guys some context. He's worked for British Aerospace, and he'll tell you his background for a number of years. From there, lived in Germany, worked in the German market for a number of years, speaks German fluently, though from the UK. Now lived in the US for a short period of time, has retired, worked in Abu Dhabi, he and his wife, for over a decade in the same space, and now is in Jamaica. I shared this with Bentley recently. Bentley is someone that I trust dearly with any project. He's the type of person that will say, Jason, is not a good thing. Don't do it. But I'll let him tell you, as far as his perspective on this project, why you want to participate. And really, he'll create and share the vision of where we're going and what's next for us. Bentley, and there's a hand up, Bentley. You may want to take the Philip has after you speak as well. Let me unmute you.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Good evening. Another thing I should mention is that I'm a fellow Mancunian. I studied at Manchester University and Salford College of Technology. So hi, guys. I would say that the genesis of these ideas has culminated during the time of COVID. Because during the time of COVID, we were all locked in our homes. There was nothing else to do. And at that time, bandwidth and internet systems had to grow exponentially. Nexqloud is a culmination of all these things, which started with the COVID pandemic. The reason why many of these things are happening also right now is the cost of hardware has dropped dramatically. Also instigated by the COVID pandemic. During the COVID pandemic time, people had to purchase systems so that they could connect with other people. There was no other way of connecting, and so you had to do it via the internet. And so lots and lots of systems came out of that. So WhatsApp was increased. Zoom, this technology which we're utilizing now, that was its main instigation, was COVID. I've highlighted here 10 different things which I've defined as technology convergence, which has been created by Nexqloud. Blockchain, number one. So the blockchain basically was instigated by the blockchain was instigated in order to find ways in which to ensure that contracts, information can be assured regardless of where you are in the network. So you can ensure that if I own this thing, this entity, whatever it is, and it's defined on the blockchain, I can prove that it belongs to me. Remote networking, remote payments, remote business, remote software development. And that's where I come in. Remote software development says basically, hey, the world has now accepted that we can sit at home in my pajamas and I can create software without having to lose the comfort of my own home and create something that is marvelous. I can be somewhere remote, like for instance, Jamaica, Ocherius. But my income that I earn is much higher than what my outgoings are. So therefore you just live much better. So I'll come back to that remote software development, which was point number 5. Point 6 is remote scalability. So scalability is something which is very, very important. So as another colleague of mine said, hey, what happens if Nexqloud becomes really, really good and really, really famous and, they're doing all this, are they going to crash? And I said, no, it's not going to crash because of the way in which it's been designed. When you look at Bitcoin said you have to do proof of work, which means that it's limited by the amount of power that's required to verify whatever is on the blockchain. This is not done this way. It's done by referral. So the 1,000 systems which have been created in the inception of this phase of Nexqloud will be utilized to do all the verification for you. And it's done in such a way that there is no one person that can find out, well, who is the next person who's going to verify on the blockchain? You can't band up together and then say, okay, then let's make a really, really big group and then take of the system. So that's another point, which is security. Security is extremely, extremely important. And in order to ensure that whatever the services that you have, the coins that you have, that they won't be hacked. And this is done by their consensus protocol, which is done by a voting system. So the voting system basically is what the basis of these 1,000 systems are. They distribute at random who, and according to a certain priority list, who will gain the next coin which is on the system, which is required to be verified on the system. For me, from a technical standpoint, they have solved what is called the blockchain trilemma. This is a term which was originally coined by Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin. And it refers to a long-held industrial belief that no blockchain could be simultaneously scalable, secure, and decentralized until you meet Nexqloud. So basically, these were, oh yeah, another 1.9, sorry, is mobile technology. The mobile technology has fueled the market in terms of allowing chips to become smaller and smaller and smaller over and over and over again. So much so that the power that you have in an iPhone now surpasses that of a mainframe in many cases of 11 years ago. It surpasses it. That's the power you have in a top level iPhone right now, because the technology has become shrunk so tight and so embedded, but most importantly, with low power. So low power is one of the other keys which makes Nexqloud, part of their focus, which is we are a green society. We create a system which, yes, it does like what Bitcoin does, but it doesn't burn fuel for ages and forever and a day. So that means that when you take part of one of these 1,000 initiated systems, it means that it's very, very low power that's being consumed as electricity from your home. In the past, I've done my own Bitcoin mining myself. And my system, the minimum it had on a day was 500 watts, minimum. And then it creeped up according to what I was mining. So to me, Nextcloud has taken care of the blockchain trilemma, and they've utilized mobile technology, which is built into these devices that Jason showed a short while ago, and has installed an amazing consensus protocol for verification of the coins, the tokens which you purchase on the system, making, in my mind, a super scalable system. That's why I put my efforts behind such a system. I think that's all I had to say. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that, Bentley. Thank you for those words. Antoine, we'll turn it back over to you at this point. Anything else we need to cover? Are there any questions that anyone, I see there's a few questions. You want to go over some of these questions that some of them may have?
Yeah,
I
sure.
see there's a question, Jason, regarding changing the phone number of the referral.
I would need to check into that to see what would be required to make that happen. Ulrich, I'll look into that for you, and I'll get back to Derek on that to make that happen. So you want to change the person who's referring you is what you want to do, that phone number.
I think they want to change the phone number that they want to use to refer others.
Can you confirm what Antoine is saying is correct? You just respond back to that.
She said yes.
Ah. Okay, got it. I'll check on that. Anybody
If there's
else?
other questions, one can maybe raise their hand, and we will do the best we can to answer those questions. See, Claude.
Claude has his hand up.
Claude, you can unmute.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
Loud
everyone.
and clear. Good
Okay,
evening.
quick question. If once we purchase one of these devices, does it have to always be on? And can we network it with devices that we already have without compromising it? In other words, does it have to be a standalone, like a separate server disconnected from everything? I've got loads of computers in this house, loads of devices. This is my office that I'm speaking from. So, yeah. And I tend to use Linux on my system. So I don't use I have a few Windows machines, but most of my machines are Ubuntu. So is that a problem?
Bentley wants to speak to that.
Yeah, okay. So I know in this first phase, the way in which it works is that the machines are configured for you and sent out. So there isn't, what you're talking about is where you can install the software onto one of those machines. That is at this moment in time not readily available. And also there's quite a number of other things that they'd perhaps have to do. But I think that would be in the second phase. In the first phase, the machines are pre-configured, are sent out, and that creates much less headache in terms of support, in terms of installing it. You know, there's a lot you'd have to do. When you have a machine which is pre-configured, it means that it's in a virgin state. You know, there's no other applications in there to disturb it, etc. And so you can more or less guarantee at the status of such a machine. So I would say for the initial phase, the answer would be no, but I do know that they plan to do something like that.
Okay. Okay. So primarily it's a data miner. That's what it does. Is that,
Uh,
or is,
it it services as well. It does
okay.
the mining as well as provide services. So
Okay.
when I say services, say for instance now someone is looking to store a certain amount of data,
Right.
like iCloud, and
Yeah.
so you would rent out that machine's services would be rented out for that purpose,
Hmm.
and then you get a certain percentage cut or whatever the price is, the cost is for that particular service. Let's
Okay.
say, for instance, as Jason spoke about before, a system, someone's paying 20,000 per month for storage, which is a type of service.
Yeah.
Then 50% of whatever that cost would be then sent to the person who is the host of those services.
Right.
And another thing is, you asked the question, what about can the machine be on or off? Each machine, there are certain points for and rewards for 99% uptime. So in other words, uh, the more availability there is for your machine, you get more points for doing that. And in turn you get more coins, and in turn, the value of the whole proposition is then increased. So bandwidth would also is not in the beginning an issue, but because most of these things would be about storage and things like that, which are not bandwidth limited.
Okay.
Um, but later on, there are those who may want to play games, have real-time systems, and uh, then bandwidth would become an issue there, so you'd have to dedicate a certain amount of bandwidth for your machine. I
Okay.
hope that answered all your questions.
Yeah, that covered a lot of them. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Okay, welcome.
There's a question, Bentley, from Karen. She says, if the network requires more devices in order to support future demand, why wouldn't you allow people to purchase the most powerful ones to maximize efficiency?
To maximize efficiency, that's what the systems which are being sold now do. They maximize efficiency. So when Jason talked about the highest level, those are 16 cores, 16 core systems. So you have 12 core, 5 core, and so forth. There's a scalable version there. Later on, there will be provisions for having much more capable, much more powerful systems. To answer your question, yes. They would not necessarily be more efficient, because efficiency is a matter of power and scale. But they would then take on a different type of task. Yes, the answer is yes, because Nexqloud provides third-party APIs so that you can interface to it. The answer is yes. In the future, yes, you can do that.
Now, what we're witnessing right now, though, in addition to that, is we do have quite a number of people that we've been communicating with. We had one gentleman who's just decided to purchase 10 of the highest devices that we have. And like Claude is actually convert his whole room into cloud storage. It's what he's decided to do. Because he just sees the power of this, and have 10 computers in that room as well. So there are those that are doing that and taking advantage of the fact they're looking to maximize their return. And they're seeing really this as a gold mine, especially being part of this in its infancy stage. So that is also an opportunity there for them.
Oh, if I may add,
Yeah.
when you do purchase these systems, because of the type of ports which are connected, it means that you are in a position to expand your system anyway. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to do a petabyte, you wanted to do petabytes of storage, you can purchase one of these systems and add an external petabyte of storage to your system. That's a possibility right now. Well, once the systems come out. So you don't have, even though you purchase these boxes and they are designed to be power conservative, you're not really limited in that way. There's many ways in which you can expand these devices when they come online. Over
I
to
think
you,
Karen
Jason.
has it. There you go. You're unmuted, Karen. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I just had a sort of follow-up question. So when I initially found out about this project, I thought I was under the assumption that it wasn't just going to be these devices that were facilitating the network. I thought it was going to be people utilizing unused devices like laptops, computers, or whatever else by, I guess, downloading the app and facilitating some part of the power that wasn't being utilized by those devices to sort of mine or provide the cloud storage like the ones that we'd be purchasing. Is that not the case at all? It's purely based on these devices?
No. In this first phase, which is the initial phase, which is where we set up the very basic system, that is true, where it's only these devices. However, the software will come online, which will allow you to be able to install and realize the dream, what you're talking about. Because for me as well, I want to have exactly the same too. You know, like for instance, I purchased an NVIDIA 2040 system, and or a 4090, and you have a tower and you install that, and the number of different types of services that you can have on one machine, you know, you can grow that, you know, tremendously, and the value of that is what I see too. You know, you have the one machine, but you can keep growing that one machine for quite a while.
Okay, wicked. All right, thank you very much.
Do you want to ask about a number of coins, roughly?
I'm not sure.
That we could potentially.
What's that?
Is there any indication of how many coins you would be getting, or is that purely based on the businesses that are utilizing the cloud space?
There are two ways of earning. One of them is you have your machine, it is utilized to mine coins. That's one way. The second are the services which are on your particular machine.
Okay.
Okay, and the services, there will be a financial split between Nexqloud and whoever the person is that I should call them the host, and the host of that service, between them and that service. Did that answer your question?
Okay. Yeah, but kind of. I guess it's just too early to tell how many coins you'd be mining per device. Is kind of what I was trying to allude to, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So here's what I will share with you in regards to that question. There are 3,600 coins every single day that are distributed, period. Okay. And with that being said, obviously, in regards to that, those individuals who have the highest cloud score. So if you've got 10 people, for example, that have the highest cloud score, then those 10 will get the majority of the coins. Everything else will be distributed to the rest of the community based on what their cloud score is, correct? So having the highest score matters. So another variable that will affect that is how often is the device on? Is it how often it's being used? So looking at that cloud score that you have, the type of device which will help generate that score. Even in addition to that, another thing that will affect that score is how many devices do you have? Do you have one? Do you have two? Obviously, the person who has two devices would be getting more than the individual that has one. So there are a few variables, but what is crucial to know, there are 3,600 NXQs that are issued every single day to the community.
Okay, gotcha. I can make my calculations based on that. Thank you.
Perfect. You're more than welcome.
That goes back to why Jason, when he was showing the devices, he was saying pay attention to the scores, because that is sharing with you what the possibility is on your scoring based on each device.
And of course, we can already see the growth of the NXQ at this point in time, which, to be honest with you, we really did not project it would be where it is at this point in time. We just had no clue. We were even debating where it would actually start. We're all used to companies starting at 0.0035, the value of the coin. We've seen that before, right? But we have something here of value. So we felt that we were comfortable, though a bit skittish, about really around $5. We said, you know what, in the next 2, 3 weeks, it may go to 8, 9. By the time we have our launch, that's where we were comfortable with that. We just didn't project where we would be today. But really, that works towards your advantage, doesn't it? At the end of the day, so that's just keep that in mind in regards to that. All right, Antoine. Anybody else before we wrap this up?
Sorry, last question.
Sure,
It was
sure.
just how much, do we have any idea of ballpark and how much these devices will cost to run per day based on electricity? Obviously, I know it'll be different for each, depending on how powerful they are, but do you have any clue so far?
Less than 300 watts.
Less than 300 watts. Okay, great.
A day.
Yeah.
All right.
That's strong. That's strong. So guys, I'm going to wrap this up. You see my wife in the background. Fortunate for her, unfortunate for me. She already had a flight booked to leave tomorrow morning, and she's leaving. We have 2 boys. She's taking you taking both the boys now? So, just one. So her and my youngest son are leaving tomorrow morning, while myself and my eldest son have to stay here. So she's back there packing her bags as she gets ready to depart tomorrow. Well, actually, while we were, she's waving at you guys. Funny thing is, she just mentioned to me that the flight tomorrow just got rescheduled for tonight. Is that what happened? So she's leaving in about 3 or 4 hours now because she's concerned about the weather. So there's a lot of moving pieces since we've been on the slide. So if there aren't any more questions, Antoine, I'll turn it back over to you.
Looks like there was
thank you,
one.
Robert. Let's answer
Bentley,
that.
do we know the radiation levels of the device?
They're within the CE ratings, the standard CE ratings for PCs.
Okay. So we have it.
Perfect. Very, very good. So guys, this is just the beginning. We will have multiple calls. There's no presentations out just yet. I know many of you are asking for that. You could imagine the team right now are really working on the most important things in really getting us to a point where we can actually turn this switch on. We've already seen some glitches of just people signing up, never mind doing anything else in this process. So they're working through that, following that. Then there will be multiple calls that we will have in the near future, but we really wanted to have this initial call so that all of you could be enlightened as to what needs to happen next. And so that's really where we are today. That's my piece, Antoine. I'll let you close out.
I want to share one last thing.
Sure.
In the registration process, if you get the error message after you put in your mobile number, after you put in your email, and you get the error message as if it looks like you didn't register, log out the app, and then attempt to log back in using the mobile number and email address that you use to register. If it sends you an email to get the code, then you know you've registered. I'll send Derek a message that I've used that kind of explains this process. And what you can do is you can copy and use that exact same message, but make sure you take out Derek's phone number or anyone else's phone number. You put your phone number that you're using to refer, if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah, we debugged the system on the weekend.
Say it again, Michael.
A group of us sat down and debugged the system on the weekend. So we worked out what to do. So
okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yesterday, working.
Okay. Excellent.
Another way of doing. Oh, sorry. I was going to say another way of doing it is that you sign in and you won't get a message. Say you've
You're
lost your
muted.
password.
It kind of.
Oh,
Repeat that again,
okay.
Bentley.
Okay. I was saying what you can do is sign up, push the button to say login, to send to register, log out. Well, you've not logged in, but try to log in and then say you've forgotten your password. And then when you say forgotten your password, then if it had registered, it will say, please enter a new password. And that's how you can do it that way too. So you don't have to go and look at your email right on the same screen, just say forgotten password. And then if it was registered, you just type in and say, okay, this is my name. And it will say, okay, put in your new password, and you put it in, and then you logged in. Very simple.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Bentley. Appreciate it.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Yes, we're looking at hopefully by next week, the devices will be available to purchase online. Thank you all. Good
Thank
evening,
you, everyone.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much. We'll keep everybody
All right,
posted on
bye.
how we are.
Okay. God
Bye-bye
bless.
now. Bye-bye
Thank you
now.
very much.
You're
Bye.
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Karen.
Thank you.
Bye.